And we'll continue the fun as we bring in John Hodge from 3DownNation.com, based out of Winnipeg on video. There he is. Hey, John, how you doing today?
Doing well, Rod. How about yourself?
Good. Can you please give me an update on football and pandemic in Winnipeg? What's the feeling out there? What's the buzz with CFL in 2020?
It's obviously looking as though, if we do get a CFL season, it's going to be a short one, possibly as short as 8 games. That being said, the pervasive feeling, I think, for a lot of people in the province of Manitoba is just relief that the Bombers were finally able to capture a Grey Cup title in 2019, because I think they're ready to make the argument that if there's no season in 2020, it should count as a back-to-back title. Not sure that'll fly with Randy Ambrosie in the league office, but Bomber fans waited 29 years for a championship. It's an argument I imagine they'll still try to make if there's no season played this year.
Well, let me ask you this. Is the party still on? It would appear for Chris Streveler it is, but for the rest of the Bomber Nation, is the Grey Cup party still on?
I've had a lot of Bomber fans reach out to me and say, honestly, one of the things that makes this pandemic easier, or one of the things that maybe makes it more of a relief in case there is no 2020 season, is just knowing that the drought is done, right? The drought was a dark cloud that hung over the Winnipeg Football Club for 29 long years. It lorded over the heads of Bomber fans, and it was a lightning rod for criticism, rightly so, from across the country. And I think, just being able to, obviously our worlds are completely changed right now, just given the pandemic and given, how work has been impacted, our personal lives have been impacted. And there's just a relief, I think, a sense of gratitude from Bomber fans that there's no way the drought could stretch to 30 years, especially if there were to be no season. It's not like the Bombers would reach a 30-year drought simply by default of not having a season.
For me, the number one thing that comes to mind with the Bombers is the quarterback situation, and the second would be Buck Pierce replacing Paul LaPolice. But let's start with the quarterbacks. All things being equal, let's just say there's a season, 18 games or what have you. What about that quarterback situation? And Matt Nichols is gone, and Chris Streveler's gone, and you got Zach, of course, but you don't know for how long. Are they good enough at the quarterback position, the most important position, going into 2020?
I don't know if they're good enough, to be honest. I just don't think there's enough of a sample size there. I mean, obviously, Zach Collaros was effective in the postseason in 2019. But that said, the Bombers' offense has always run through Andrew Harris, or at least it did for the last 4 seasons under Paul LaPolice. Now, the part of the success, I think, of Collaros as well is having a guy like Streveler with his athleticism, being able to come in, make plays with his legs, give a really different look for the defense. That's obviously gone in 2020. Sean McGuire will be the backup going into the season. By all accounts, the club is high on him. Paul LaPolice was a big fan of his. That said, he has a total career completion rate of 0 in the CFL. He's attempted, I think it's 2 passes, didn't complete a ball last year. So the Bombers could not have less experience, frankly, at the quarterback position behind their starter than they do right now. I think they're high on Drew Brown, who's another rookie who they've signed to come in and compete. He's a bit of a dual threat pivot himself. But if Zach Collaros goes down, and that's something that we've, of course, seen happen in previous years with Zach Collaros suffering a number of injuries over the last, say, half decade, the Bombers are going to have their fingers crossed that these young guys can compete. And if not, they're going to have a veteran free agent quarterback's phone number on speed dial.
And to the other question, big shoes for Buck Pierce to fill because I think Paul LaPolice as a coordinator is up here and nobody's really close in the CFL, but he's gone now. Buck takes over. How do you think he'll do?
Well, Buck Pierce, he's worked very closely with Paul LaPolice over the last 4 seasons. Buck started in Winnipeg as the running backs coach, transitioned to the quarterback coach role for the last number of seasons. I don't know if he's ready, and I don't think we'll know that until the season begins, simply because, he's a fresh face to the CFL in terms of being a coordinator. He's never performed that role before. It's not a job that we've seen him have. With that being said, I think he's as ready as anybody could be. He was an effective quarterback in the CFL for close to a decade. He's got, I believe it's 6 years of coaching experience under his belt now, and he's worked very closely with the quarterback position, obviously, in Winnipeg for the last 4 years. So I'm excited to see what he does with the offense. He still has Andrew Harris, of course, as an MOP caliber weapon in the backfield. The quarterback, again, the depth is a little bit concerned, but with the tools and the weapons that are in place and the system in place that Paul LaPolice developed and installed over the last 4 years, I think Buck is at a pretty good chance of having success as a rookie offensive coordinator in the CFL.
From our producer, Clark, says the CFL draft rankings are out. Who does John like near the top of the list?
My personal favorite prospect right now would probably be Jordan Williams, linebacker out of East Carolina. And it's for a number of reasons. Williams lacks NFL size. He's 5'11", 218, which is really the only reason why he's not in the NFL. You can ask Adam Bighill, for instance, about ultra-talented linebackers who aren't in the NFL just because they're 5'11". Williams is an athletic freak. He put up a 4.48 40-yard dash at the Ontario Regional Combine. And the other reason I love him is because you're going to get him right away. This is a player who finished his career with the Pirates in 2017, hasn't been in football for a couple of years, which does give some teams pause. But considering the lack of rust he showed at the Ontario Regional, I don't think there's any reason to be concerned about taking him. And it's not often in the CFL that you can draft a 3-year starter from the Division I of the NCAA. B, it's not often that you can draft a guy who's an NFL caliber talent, and C, to have that talent and to not have him be going to the NFL, right? If you take Carter O'Donnell, the offensive lineman out of Alberta, he's fantastic, but he's going to be under contract with an NFL team following the draft. The same is true for Michael Hoyt, defensive tackle out of Brown. A lot of these top players, Nathan Rourke, quarterback out of Ohio, another example. A lot of these guys, you have to worry about the NFL. And if you take them in the first round and they end up playing down south for 5, 6, 7 years, you're in trouble. You've cost your team a great player. Whereas Williams, the risk is not there. He's going to be in camp if we have a season in 2020, and he could be a starting caliber player right now as a rookie in the CFL.
Lastly, John, our viewers are loving your beard. They're loving your hat. They're loving everything. I love the background. That looks totally awesome. Let me ask you this. You are, and again, this is my last question. You're a top lieutenant of Justin Dunks at 3DownNation.com. What do you love so much about being involved with that site and the coverage that you guys are able to provide?
Oh, I love being part of 3Down. Being part of 3Down provides me the freedom to cover anyone. I think that we do a fantastic job of covering the CFL draft. Any of your viewers, listeners can go on 3downnation.com, click the CFL draft heading. We've got over 50 stories on this year's players, prospects. We have mock drafts, we have profiles, we have projections. The CFL obviously needs as much coverage as it can get. And, I think we do a good job of providing fair and balanced coverage of the league. I think we celebrate its successes. I think we hold the league accountable when it struggles. And at the end of the day, we're all huge football fans. That's what brought us to the site, the team that we have. We auction for the CFL. I've been a lifelong CFL follower. I'm sure many of your viewers have, and all of our contributors have, really, at 3downnation.com. So I'm really proud to be part of the team, and I think we do a good job filling a need in the marketplace.
You do. I've said it to Justin. I'll say it to you. I'm on there 3, 4, 5 times a day, and it is the best source for information for the CFL. So, John, thank you for the time. Appreciate the virtual meeting here, and hopefully we can do it for real one day when the world gets back spinning.
Sounds great, Rod. Anytime.
John Hodge from Winnipeg joining us, the 3 Down Nation insider from Bomberland. By the way, to the Prairie Mobile text line, 306-840-8777, Metal Shingle guys listening and says, Jalen Saunders and Rashad Green signings add some serious wheels to their respective offenses. Fajardo and Arbuckle must be licking their chops waiting. Bring them out, bring them out. That from Metal Shingle guy. See how everybody's starting to get... Is it because it got warmer or what?
I think so.
The cabin fever is striking.
I know.
Or being over. Regarding the tiff that my wife and I got in last night after I agreed with her, and then that started a fight. I think it's funny. She doesn't. Ken in Saskatoon writes in, Prairie Mobile text line says, "You're in trouble, Rod. You always say happy wife, happy life. This sounds like pampering for weeks will be required now that you have made it public." And that would be different from what? I'm always pampering her. Jim Wagner writes in, Prairie Mobile text line. Roddy and Dupes, thanks for suggesting big-time game shows on Saturday afternoon. It was fun for the whole family. We will be checking them out on Wednesday night, too. Take care and have a great week. See, advertising, promotion. And from what I understand, because I don't know where I was, we might have been out for a walk or something. I didn't see I caught the tail end of the game show Saturday, but I heard Richie Roy was talking about this program on there.
Yep.
The dude's got thousands of live viewers for his game show, big-time game shows, which reminds me, they bring you the sports update, and that's coming up next. But I'll say this. I'll probably write a column tonight or in the morning or within the next 36 hours, another 10 things or 25 things maybe.
Yeah.
Like I did on the weekend. But with it, you talk about people don't know the prospects because they don't know the players for the CFL draft. I think 8 of the top 10 play NCAA football. Hey, go watch Notre Dame. They're on every weekend. And you'll see Chase Claypool.
Yep.
That's where the marketing comes from. You don't even have to worry about the fact U Sports doesn't have a national television contract or isn't on every cable package because the top prospects aren't even in U Sports. They're in NCAA Division I, and you can watch them every weekend.
It's true. It's true. They are available. Now, the flip side to that is the football people don't really believe that Chase Claypool's coming to Canada and coming to the CFL. So it's hard to get excited about
Canadian. Watch him.
Who's not coming. But yeah, here's a Canadian who's going to be an impact player in the NFL and may be a star in the CFL if he ever makes his way down here. I think that would be really exciting. And he's one of the top prospects. He's on the CFL's draft board, I think at number 2.
Buddy, it's as simple as giving people a reason to watch. Yep. Connor Bedard, same thing. I didn't know who he was a month ago. How's everybody else other than people like us stirring up the frenzy?
Have to. You have to. You have to give people a reason.
Yeah. We will pause. We've got a sports update coming up, plus our NFL insider, Tori Gurley. We've barely got into the Gronk to Tampa Bay stuff. Patriots culture. Tori Gurley's been around it. He's got some thoughts, I know. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. It's episode 218 of Canada's morning sports talk show. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Facebook Live and listen live at rodpedersen.com.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of the Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.